Joseph walked through the fields wearing a coat of many colors, a gift from his father Jacob, and with every step the fabric caught the light like a promise. He was young, full of energy, and unaware that the love shown to him would become a seed of hatred in the hearts of his brothers. To Jacob, Joseph was a special child, a son born in his old age, but to his brothers, he was a reminder of favoritism, and that bitterness slowly grew into jealousy that they could no longer hide. Whenever Joseph came near, their eyes followed him with cold silence, and every dream he shared only made things worse. One day, Joseph came to them excited, his voice breaking the tension as he spoke about a dream he had seen in the night. He told them they were binding sheaves in the field, when suddenly his own sheaf rose and stood upright, while theirs bowed before it. The words had barely left his mouth before anger flashed across their faces. They mocked him, questioning whether he truly believed he would rule over them. Yet Joseph, innocent and unaware of how deeply his words cut, spoke again of another dream, one even greater than the first. He had seen the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowing down to him. This time, even Jacob, though he kept the matter in his heart, was troubled by what it might mean, while his brother's jealousy turned into hatred so strong it began to consume them. Not long after, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers who were tending the flocks far from home. Joseph went gladly, not knowing he was walking into a turning point in his life. When his brothers saw him coming from a distance, the bright coat announcing his presence long before he reached them, their hatred ignited like fire. They whispered among themselves, calling him the dreamer, mocking the idea that he would ever rise above them. In their hearts, a dark decision began to form, one that would change everything. Some suggested killing him and ending his dreams forever, while others hesitated. Among them, Reuben tried to soften the plan, suggesting they should not shed his blood, but instead throw him into a pit in the wilderness, secretly hoping to rescue him later. When Joseph arrived, they seized him before he could understand what was happening. His voice filled with confusion and fear as they stripped him of his beloved coat. He called out to them, asking what he had done to deserve such treatment, but his words fell on ears hardened by envy. They dragged him to a dry pit and threw him inside, leaving him alone in the darkness. Joseph cried out for help, but the sound of his brother's indifference was louder than his voice. They sat nearby, eating and talking as though nothing of value had been lost. As they sat there, a caravan of traders passed by on their way to Egypt. Suddenly, Judah spoke with a new idea, suggesting that instead of leaving Joseph to die, they could sell him. Profit replaced rage, and betrayal took a different shape. They pulled Joseph out of the pit, and for a price of 20 pieces of silver, they handed him over to strangers. Joseph pleaded with them, calling out for mercy, for brotherhood, for remembrance, but his words were swallowed by the silence of their decision. The traders bound him and began to lead him away. As Joseph was taken farther and farther from home, he looked back toward the land he once knew, the family that had become strangers, and the life that now felt like a fading dream. His heart was heavy with confusion and pain, and he could not understand why everything familiar was being stripped away from him. Yet in that moment of loss, something deeper remained unbroken within him. Even in chains, even in tears, Joseph lifted his heart toward God, whispering a trust he did not fully understand, but chose to hold on to. What looked like rejection was actually the beginning of a journey no one could yet see. Joseph was not just being removed from his home, he was being moved into destiny. And though the pit seemed like an ending, it was only the first step toward a greater story still unfolding.